So, you want to buy a Crown Victoria. All right. So let's talk about drivability and let's go for a ride. Another thing that I was thinking about too, what may happen if you have a Crown Victoria as well. You know, you want to get a Crown Victoria. You know, you gotta put some muscle in it. Gotta fix the cars. It's not a new edge car where you get it, you drive it, and you don't have to do anything. But the air conditioning system. So with this car, it has the electronic control unit. I'll just show you real quick. What happens is this blend door fails. So currently the way I have my car set up is in the summertime, when I put it on AC, I have to leave it on AC, right? So once I leave it on AC, it stays on AC for the whole summertime. If I were to change the temperature, fluctuate it at any point, it locks in on heat. And then I have to go back and reset the system. And it probably takes me 20 minutes sometimes to actually get that back to AC. So in the summertime, I leave it on AC. If it gets too cold or too cool, you gotta look. All right, now the heat. You see how it's on 60 degrees? That's cool, right? It's 80 degrees because the blend door motor is stuck. So once it go to 60, you put it on heat, it stays on heat. It stays on high heat. If you get too hot, I just got to turn it off. Simple as that. So that's another thing to deal with. That's how I deal with it without fixing it. Because fixing it, you got to take the whole dash apart, you know, and pull it all that about. No, I'm not doing all that. All you got to do is learn the reset system. I'll show you how to do that in the description above. I'll show you how to do that. Just click that link, it'll show you. Reset the system, leave it on AC for the summer, leave it on heat for the winter. If it gets too hot, just turn it off. That's it. The defrost and everything else works. I've been rolling like that for at least about 2 years now, 2.5 years. It works just fine. All right. So another detail on what you have to look at about getting into about driving a Crown Victoria. The suspension is old, right? You know, when you first get it, oh yeah, this thing rides smooth. You know, it rides smooth. No, your suspension just old. You know, it's wobbly and wiggly, and you know, it's not tight. You know, it's not a brand new car. So you definitely have to upgrade the suspension components like I did. I'll put a description for a video for that as well. So once you start to upgrade the car, change out suspension pieces, and then the car starts to react like a newer car. So you gotta be prepared for that, right? That's another detail you gotta do. Steering. Hey, this thing has a electronic assisted steering with a hydraulic pump. So you got to make sure that your power steering fluid is changed as well. You got to do that. So I've done that multiple times in this car. Like I say, I've taken the hose off, run the car, let it shoot out the fluid until it's empty, put it back together, refill it. I've done that a couple of times on this car to make sure the steering is pretty good. Another detail is brakes. Who needs brakes? We all do. So you need brakes. So you got to do your brakes. So you got to look at that. You know, you're buying it, check the brakes. If they've been done, if they have not, still got to check them. So that's another cost, your brakes. Another detail, like say I mentioned the tires. On this car, I have no Ken N-Tire 2.0, the first generation 2.0 tires. They've held up pretty good so far, not too bad. They're horrible in the rain, horrible. But in the dry surface, they're good. In the rain, it may be because of the suspension. Like I said, I do have that upgraded sway bar in the front, and I have the factory sway bar in the rear. So it's you know, it could be throwing the car off that you got something solid up front and loose in the rear. But a rear upgraded sway bar is coming. That's the next mod. See that mod. So you don't want to mod the car. That's another cost. But like I said, when you're driving a car, you know, it goes straight if your alignment is straight. That's another detail. You got to think about your alignment. Once you start replacing your front suspension components, you want to get it aligned, right? To make sure that your car is driving straight. You should be able to take your hands off the wheels in a safe manner, and the car should still go straight. Make sure you put your hands back on the wheel. A lot of people miss is brake fluid. I have a video for that as well. You gotta check your brake fluid. When I first got this car, the brake fluid was green. Every time I was sucking it out, green. So it had been sitting for a while, so it absorbed a lot of moisture and it, you know, an algae in the brake system. That's not good. Got to get that replaced. So without me doing an actual 4-wheel bleed in the brakes, I have replaced the brakes, front and rear. So that's another cost, your brake fluid. Another cost is parts. I mean, parts are fairly cheap. They're pretty good and fairly cheap. But you may have some parts that may be hard to get. You may have to go to the junkyard. So like I say, you just got to think about those things before you want to dive into the Panther platform world. But once you get everything dialed in, you'll like it. Because another part of the suspension that I had to do, which this car has factory airbags in the back. So I have a video for that. It has factory airbags. So with the factory airbags, it's able to level the car out. Anytime I put anybody or anything in the car, it starts to squat down. The air ride suspension kicks in, then it starts to level it out. That's probably one of the main things that I like about this car. Besides, it connects me to, I don't know, it kind of connects me to how I was raised. You know, just older cars in general. I think about my pops, you know, how we grew up, older cars. Oh, just saw a Dodge Dart. We used to have a Dodge Dart. Well, let's just say I moved away from the Dodge Dart. My dad still has it. But I told him, don't never sell it, because I want it. I got videos for that too. I have videos for everything. But like I say, Crown Victorias, they're great cars, solid body on frame, platforms. You know, they're simple to work on to a degree. You know, some things are difficult than others. Like I say, that's why I haven't even replaced the lower ball joints yet, because it has a coil spring that's attached to the lower control arm. So that's the next project, is replace the lower control arms. See, another expense. But all in all, they last as long as you do your oil changes. I do mine every 3,000 miles. Hey, you can stretch it out longer. That's up to you. But for me, I do it every 3,000. It's almost like I do it right before winter and right before summer. So I got fresh oil for the summertime, fresh oil for the wintertime. If you think about it like that. The power is not there. I wish it made more power. You know, they made it reliable power. That's what they did, reliable power. Just reliable power. It's just enough power to get you going. You can mod it. You know, you can do an aluminum drive shaft from a P71 Crown Victoria. You can do a Mercury Marauder airbox mod, zip tube. You can do a tune on it. Get your SCT tuner called Marty Oaks. It'll get you tuned up. The best bang for your buck, I would say, which a lot of people say, is rear gears. This car has a 327 rear gears. Some cars have 273s, some have 355s, depending on if you got a P71. Another thing you can do is go up to like a 410 or 430. All right, so you get acceleration from stoplight to stoplight, but it cuts your miles per gallon when you get on the highway. So be prepared for that. The best one a lot of people do is a supercharger. Just go ahead and spend a couple grand and supercharge it, and you'll be almost 400 horsepower. Now, hopefully you upgrade your transmission, do the torque converter, do the rear gear. That way it can hold extra power. If you put more power, you got to upgrade the suspension. This car, I've upgraded the rear suspension with CHE control arms. Video for that. CHE rear control arms. It plants the car, makes it go straighter than normal. There's no more flex. But when I first put them on, man, it made a big difference. It tightened up the car, made it stiffer. You know, when you give it gas, it goes straight. You know, there's no body roll. Well, I say minimum body roll. It literally drops the car down, it goes. It just goes, you know. So you definitely have to look into that mod, CHE rear control arms. I purchased those through CHE, which they have a coupon on their website. So like I say, it's a great platform to mod, to just maintain. You know, if you're not in the rust belt, you're all right. I have very minimal, no rust. I mean, obviously I'm in Washington State. It does rain a lot, but I'm not in the snow part of the state. So, like I say, if you want a Crown Victoria, any platform, number one, make sure you buy from a previous owner that's actually done some work on the car before you got it. You know, if they got some records, they took it to the shop, to the Ford dealership, perfect. P71, that's a whole nother ball game. Yeah, it's got more power than a regular LX, but then you got to deal with how bad it was dogged out. You know, those are police cars. You know, they eat high-speed chases, you know, hard stops, idling for long times. And yeah, they was maintained to keep it running. But like I say, you're dealing with a car that's been abused. So, great cars. I wish you the best if you're looking at getting one. Like I say, share, like, and subscribe. You know, leave me some feedback. Let me know what kind of car you have. You know, give me some points. Add to my list of do's and don'ts of why you should or should not buy a Crown Victoria in 2025 or in the future. Peace. Another thing you have to do, and what may happen, if your previous owners never changed the coolant, you got to replace the coolant. Then also you may have to put a new radiator in it, which I'll put a link in the description for that as well up here. I had to replace the radiator on this car. Like I say, Main thing you want to do is make sure you get all the fluids changed. Do that. Get all the fluids changed. That way you know from that start when you buy the car, all the fluids are changed. But I'll let you guys hear this Crown Victoria crank up here for a minute. Let's do a little crank up here. Like I say, the car been running. So this is with Flowmaster mufflers, 40 series mufflers. So like I say, you know, you may have to do a mod. I put Flowmaster 40 mufflers on here with 4-inch dual tips on it.